Deanna Maurice, weekly craft and lifestyle content. Hey guys, it's Deanna here again. Thank you so much for joining me this week. I will be sharing with you all a metallic sequence cake that I created along with my Caribbean buttercream. So if you are interested, please continue to watch. I'm going to be making a 2-pound batter of buttercream, and the first thing that you want to do is start out with 2 cups of your desired shortening. It doesn't matter which brand you use, but one thing that I do have to say, they all do have different consistencies. This Crisco was a little bit more loose than the other shortening brands that I typically use, so I didn't have to use as much water. The next thing that I'm going to go in with is my water, and I'm going to be using 16 teaspoons of water initially to get this buttercream going. You want to drizzle your water all in at once. Some people like to do it in shorter quantities, but because buttercream is a very forgiving, I like to put the bulk of my liquids up front. Now I'm going to be sifting in my confectionery sugar directly into my mixing bowl. And as you guys can see here, I have some little pellets that were left over, and I'm just going to use a fork to kind of get out the majority of them into my mixing bowl. And the purpose of doing that is so that you will not have any of those pellets. You'll have a nice, smooth, and airy buttercream. Now I'm going to allow my mixer to mix in this mixture on a slow speed. Once all of the confectionery sugar is integrated, you can go ahead and turn your mixer to a higher level. My secret ingredient to my buttercream is my almond that I have shipped up here from Jamaica. My family members bring it up for me because they know how much I use it and love it. But I use this to thin out my buttercream to the final consistency that I need it to be, depending on what I'm using it for, if it's for icing or it's for detailing or if it's for writing. So it just depends on how thin or thick you want your buttercream to be. Hey guys, just a quick reminder to go ahead and hit that subscribe button, as well as give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video. Also, you can turn on the notification bell if you want to be notified each and every time I upload. These cakes were resting overnight, so I'd like to add a little bit of cornstarch to my countertop to ensure that they will not stick to the countertop. Now I'm going to be using my Wilton's cake leveler to level my cakes. I'm going to take the top off first, and then I'm going to split it in 2. Once I level the cakes, I'm going to be using a bit of buttercream on my cake board to act as glue to hold my cake in place. After I have all my layers cut, I then proceed to filling in my cake layers with my buttercream. And I just go ahead and stack them all up with the buttercream in the middle. And to help you get a nice flat surface, you actually want to use the bottom of your cake as the top. Now I'm going to be doing my crumb coat. Once I complete my crumb coat, I'm going to let this chill in the refrigerator for at least 20 minutes so that it can firm up a bit. Now I'm going to use my scraper to make sure that everything is nice and smooth. I'm going to be filling in those gaps with a little bit more buttercream, and then taking my bench scraper and going around it once again. Now with the top of your spatula, you just want to go ahead and level the top off. Each time you swipe, you want to make sure that you clean off your spatula, because that is going to ensure that you get the smoothest cake top as possible. Now I'm just going in with some black food coloring to dye my fondant into a gray color, because this is a silver cake. The base of it, I would like for it to be gray, so that once I paint it, even if there's a little bit peeking through, you will not be able to tell much of a difference. Here I'm just rolling out my fondant and I'm flipping it back and forth to help me get a nice, even, smooth layer of fondant. Once I get it to my desired thickness, I'm going to roll it over my rolling pin, and then I'm just going to drape it gently over the cake. Now you want to be gentle, and this is the reason why you don't want your fondant to be too thin, because it will rip over the edges. So once you drape it over, just use your hands to kind of massage it in, and you kind of want to stretch your fondant towards the bottom to help it lay. Now take your time, go around, stretch and massage the cake until you have a nice fondant covering. And then I'm just using my little tool here that I got from Michaels. It is by Wilton, to smooth out the fondant even further and make sure that it is adhered to the bottom of the cake especially. Now I'm going to use my fondant cutter, and I kind of press towards the bottom because I kind of want the fondant to curve underneath, so that no cake or no cake board is showing once all of the fondant is cut out. And I can just go ahead and remove the excess and make sure that you knead it once again and store it properly. Now I'm going in with some piping gel. This is going to act as the glue for my sequins that I'll be applying to this cake. Just want to make sure that you cover the entire cake with the piping gel, and this stuff is awesome, guys. If you guys haven't tried it before, try it for adhering different things to your fondant. Now I took a large bowl, which is going to capture all of my fallout sprinkles, and these are called large confetti sprinkles. I ordered these on Amazon. If I can find the link, I will leave it down below. And you're just going to take some in your hand and you're going to press it all over the cake. Take your time, be patient. It definitely does take a while to complete. You might need to put a little extra piping gel on the edges of your cake because it is a little bit more difficult to adhere. Now I let this cake sit overnight. Now I'm going to be making my spray paint. So I'm mixing a little bit of luster dust along with some vodka. It can be any brand. For this, I used Smirnoff, and it was great. I only needed half of that nip. I decided to spray the base of my cake black because the luster dust, there's only a little bit in that container, so I just wanted to have a base coat of one color to work with, and black seemed to be the best option because, as you guys know, if you don't know, black underneath will help any metallic pop a little bit more. So now I'm just going over the cake with the luster dust spray paint that I created, trying to cover the cake up as best as possible. Just a quick tip, I did use some of my Duff spray paint liquid inside in the color Pearl to help thin out the consistency so that it would go through my sprayer a little bit easier. But yeah, guys, this is what the confetti looks like once it was all finished. I was really pleased with it. It was a bit of a tedious process, but we reached the end and I think that it turned out really nicely. I will be sharing the tutorial of how I created the cake topper for this with my Cricut. So if you're interested, come back next week to see it.